Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shanghai. Step into China's world with advanced transportation and architecture. Join us as we explore the city's delights.
Welcome to Pony Card Podcast, the best news in and outside of China, with your host, HeiManTou, and...
Hello, I'm Ninja Girl Emily.
Right, I'm going to get myself a drink first. Normally I drink Kentucky bourbon straight up, but I'm just going to have some Jack.
That sounds much more exciting than me. I've got pineapple juice.
I love pina colada now and then, so... Okay, right. Let's start first, okay? So tell me about PonyCon, because I've never been there. I went to, obviously, my first con in Shanghai. It was a very big disappointment. And when I was talking to you and other people, it felt like they had got the wrong end of the stick about what a con is. So everything just felt like backwards than what I kind of perceived to be a con.
Yeah, because I know that you mentioned there were like two things happening at the same time. The one in Shanghai that you were at that wasn't that great, and then another one somewhere else in China. And from the looks of it, that one looked like a proper convention style thing.
They planned it like to do, I think the place was Guilin, I think it was. And they planned to do it and they organized that very well. And it felt like that Shanghai was like a last minute slapdash rushed event. Let's put it all together. And that's what it felt like.
Yeah, so it's a real shame that was like your first experience of pony convention. With PonyCon UK, I'm by no means an expert. I only went to my first one last year, but I was lucky enough because it was a bit of an anniversary thing for them. They happened to be hosting a panel on a brief history of PonyCon, essentially, so I got to learn a lot of the history. And one of the things that I learned was that it's not a convention that came up during the Generation 4 Friendship is Magic life cycle, like a lot of other ones are, the more brony conventions. Not to say there's anything wrong with those, but with PonyCon it's different because it was set up way back in the early 2000s as more of a toy collectors convention more than anything at the time. And it came up during, I believe, the Generation 3 ponies, which I think is the one that you're somewhat familiar with for the TV shows that were on at the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, basically... my childhood was 1980s, so it was obviously Gen 1. But then I would say like around the 90s, I think it's about 90s, my little brothers started watching like, sort of after school TV shows and cable and whatnot. And I remember seeing like a few episodes while they were watching it of Gen 3.
Yeah, so... Gen 3 was kind of when PonyCon started, and like I said, it was originally more so the toy collectors. Because, I mean, I know that you'll be aware of the 80s TV show and the movie and stuff, but it wasn't all about that. It was more the toys that was like the main thing at the time, wasn't it?
Well, that's the thing, because Hasbro back then, like, it was... These weren't really cartoons. They really were like advertisements for their products.
Exactly.
And it's not just My Little Pony. It was Transformers, He-Man, G.I. Joe, all of these. And actually at one point, I believe it was like US Congress like made rules where like these cartoons had to have like a sort of like a thing at the end of the show talking about morality or like how to be a good citizen, and they had to put that in.
Yeah, exactly. That actually even affected Friendship is Magic. There's something like educational content or something that you have to have a certain percentage of your TV shows cover that or something if it's going to be on US children's TV. But that's why it was all about the toys early on, and that's how PonyCon started in the UK as more of a toy collectors convention. And they actually worked with Hasbro. They had exclusive convention pony toys that you would be able to get there. And that's kind of how it started. And then it's just grown and grown. And with Generation 4, obviously you had these brony-specific conventions popping up, but that just meant that it strengthened the PonyCon convention, because now suddenly you had this influx of people that were so interested in this television show as well as the toys that it really elevated what the convention could be. And so now you have, I think Generation 4 is probably the biggest one there, closely followed by Generation 1. And then you also have a bit of showing of Gen 5 probably next, and Gen 3. There's actually a panel this year, which is like the Gen 3 appreciation panel. And then there's Generation 2, but that only ever had toys, so it's a bit harder to represent that one.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the annoying intro for Gen 3 going about Scootaloo and Cheerilee and all that. And so when I finally, because after you and everyone saying, oh, start watching Gen 4, I started watching, oh, there's Cheerilee, oh, there's Scootaloo, it's like, wow, like, and I didn't see Toola-Roola, but like, it was like, just brought back memories of me, like, looking after my brothers, because we were very much latch kids, even up into the late 90s. So I had to look after my brothers. And it was mainly a case of, like, were they in from school? Have they done their homework? And are they not up to no good? Like, so if they were sitting in front of TV watching Cartoon Network or God knows what, I was happy, so...
Fair enough, yeah. But yeah, that's kind of what PonyCon is. It's generations of pony fans. You've got the retro toy collectors, you've got the Gen 4 and 5 fans, you've got the niche fans that really enjoy the Generation 2 toys or the Generation 3 show, and it means that you get this really wide variety of fans all coming together in one place, and it's really nice. And this year I'm really excited for quite a few things that are happening. First of all, they have Rebecca Choisey, I think that's how you say her surname. She's the voice actress for Sunset Shimmer, as well as a few tertiary characters in the main show, and she's the singing voice of Twilight Sparkle, so they've got her as a special guest, so that's going to be cool. And they've also, I've forgotten their name unfortunately, but one of the artists and like character designers for the Generation 5 characters is going to be there. Then there's a bunch of different events. There's they have so much stuff going on. They have like a kids craft area because they're very family friendly. They've got video game stuff going on. There's music concerts in the evenings. There's different panels from stuff to do with the Generation 1 show to the Generation 4 show to like the brony fandom culture. There's a card swap meet, which is going to be really cool. I assume it's going to be mostly Enterplay, but now that Kayou's picking up a lot of steam as well, I think there's going to be a good mix of the two.
You're going to be like, surprise! With your cards.
I really hope I can get there though, because unfortunately it's crossing over with like the very small amount of time that I'll be able to queue up for the general meet and greet stuff with Rebecca Choisey, because they don't have them doing stuff all convention. They need breaks and stuff, which is understandable. So I'm like, I might be able to get to the card swap meet, but I may need to prioritize going to see Rebecca. I need to see what's going to happen. It's going to be... There's so much on, it's really hard to figure out what you actually want to go to. And I think that's a good problem to have.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Shanghai one. It was, nothing was like sought out towards kids, or to entertain kids. So I took my daughter, and my daughter was like bored out of her mind, and there was nowhere to sit. And unless you got a VIP like ticket, you could sit down in this like fenced off area near the stage. And it was just like, the whole idea of this was like, when I went in, and they were confiscating water from people and drinks to go in. I was like, and there was nowhere.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and there was nowhere near around to actually buy drinks or food. So you had to like rely on using like a phone app and getting some sort of like Kwai Ren to come and drop you some food or drink. It was just, everything about it was just like really mean-spirited, to be fair. Like, I just didn't like it. But like, obviously,
Yeah, that sucks.
yeah.
I think the one thing I did notice with PonyCon last year was, in some ways it didn't feel like there were lots of places to sit, but then you just kind of like had to walk to the right area and suddenly there were chairs everywhere. And there were multiple panel rooms, so even if you weren't too interested in a panel, if you wanted to sit down, you could just walk in and sit at one of the panels if you wanted to for a while. And then there were food and drink options. There weren't many, but they were there.
Well, that's the thing, because like the week before, I was gonna go and try to go to the what's it called, the Ponyverse they were running in Shanghai and Shenzhen, and it was not.
Oh yeah, I remember.
But it was my daughter got a fever, so I couldn't go. But like, it was run by Kayou, Casio, Search Fun, a bunch of other companies, and they all had their wares there. And you also saw like the Gen 5 ponies dressed up doing a dance for the kids and stuff. They had like the pony food, like the ice creams and the drinks, everything there, including the Talos food. It looked so much more better, and like, I was like, I wish I had went to that. So next time they do an event like that, I probably will go. I think there's also one next month, and it's the same sort of thing. They got the same people in the costumes, but I'm going to go to the Joy-Con Fly With Me event instead. So that's what I plan to do anyway.
Yeah, which sounds interesting. It seems like more of a like merch launch kind of event more than anything, right?
It's more of it's obviously like driven by merch, but it's the only one which is actually like licensed by Hasbro or supported by Hasbro. Mm. That's the difference. And because of that, like, they take care of the logistics. Like, is there food? Is there places to sit? They think of all this stuff. But when you got fans, especially like, I don't want to be mean, but like, I just really feel like the Pony Brony like con people who did the event, like, maybe Guilin was different, but the Shanghai one, like, just everything about it just felt like a slapdash rushed event, and like they didn't think things through at all. And unfortunately that was my first experience. It was just like, oh no. So I'm hoping that the main thing I hope it doesn't upset is my daughter, because she was looking forward to, because they had at Guilin, they had the voice actor for Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie, but
Andrea Libman.
Yeah,
I remember seeing her posting about that.
Yeah, and like it kind of like, because of all the posts, it kind of misled us that like, and it wasn't really the event, but what was going on Red Note. It kind of misled us that like she would be at the Shanghai one. So my daughter was all happy, like, getting to like get an autograph, and all we could do is we couldn't get her, but we did get Starlight Glimmer, and Miss Maid was there as well. But like, we got Starlight Glimmer instead. PonyCon, they actually have their own mascot, don't they? Is it Brittany or Britannia?
They do. She's called Britannia.
Ah. Yeah. And because a lot of other PonyCons I've seen online don't really have their own sort of mascot from the looks of it.
Yeah, I've seen a couple here and there, but I don't know the names of them. Not everyone does, though.
Yeah. And obviously, you'll be, and we should tell everyone what you'll be up to actually at the event, because you'll be at your friend's stand, won't you, and hand out some stuff.
Yeah, so on the Sunday, my friend A Single Petal is going to be running her stall. It's the first PonyCon that they have managed to actually get a stall for, and they're very excited. They actually just sent me a picture of some of the stickers that they're going to be selling, so that's really nice. And they've redone some of their old artwork from years ago when they was first getting into the fandom. They've done a lot of redraws. They've also done some new art for it. But I'm going to be helping out at her stall, like on and off throughout the Sunday. And I'm going to have little packs of cards to hand out. I'm going to have some sealed ones that you were very kindly sent over. and I'm also putting together packs that are going to be like almost pony specific, so some Twilight packs, some Fluttershy packs. I'm going to try and do some of the other characters, I might not have enough cards to do a full Princess Celestia pack, but I could do like a Princess Celestia and Luna pack kind of thing. So if anyone just wants specific ponies, I'm going to try and have those ready as well.
Yeah, and together we're also trying to put something together for the charity event as well. I did send some stuff. Hopefully.
Yeah, you sent some stuff, and I have 2 spare starter decks for the game cards. So I actually, yesterday while I was out, I've got a spare Applejack deck and a spare Fluttershy deck. There's a tiny bit of damage to a couple of the cards, and I'm going to make sure that is very clear at the charity auction. But I bought some orangey sleeves for the Applejack deck, some yellow ones for the Fluttershy, and some matching colour deck boxes, so that they're all packaged nice and neatly, ready for someone, if they wanted to use them, they could just get them out and start playing with them there and then. I say that, they are in Chinese, so they will need to have translations for them, but essentially they will be ready to pick up and play.
And just tell people what the charity actually is for, because I kind of forgot, and people might want to hear what the charity they have.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to look up the name of the charity because I don't remember it off the top of my head. But essentially, it's a, as far as I know, it's a charity where the idea is that they help disabled people, and there we go, the Riding for the Disabled Association, and all the money from the charity auction goes there, and the idea is that they improve the lives of anyone with disabilities through spending time with horses. And this isn't the only charity I know of that does this. I know there's at least one in the US called Healing Horse Therapy or something like that. And the idea is that through working with horses, it can be really beneficial for mental health as well as physical health. It can help people that may have difficulty with communication. It actually, if it's something that they enjoy, they can find that they can communicate their mood through spending time with the horses. I don't know exactly how it works, obviously, but let me see. So there's some bullet point stuff on like what they want to do. They help improve people's posture and muscle tone so they can develop better fine and gross motor movement, which obviously for some physically disabled and even some people with mental disabilities, those can be quite difficult to work on. Sometimes it can be a case of having a sense of personal achievement. For some people, it could be a case of they've always wanted to ride a horse, but a lot of places don't know how to handle helping someone disabled with riding horses. This is a charity that works on this very specifically, and they can even help get someone into things like Paralympics with the horse riding side of that. And, you know, just developing everyday stuff like building up relationships and social skills. It's just a means of which a lot of this stuff can happen. And particularly with this isn't something that's on the website, but I think it's something that's worth noting, is that I know it's a stereotype and not everyone does this, but a lot of young autistic, particularly girls, really like horses. So having this kind of charity to help them connect with other people is really helpful if the way to get them into that kind of thing is through the fact that there's going to be a bunch of horses there. It's obviously not just them, and there's going to be lots of different kinds of people that would want to work with this kind of charity for many different reasons, but that's the kind of idea of the charity from what I know. Again, I'm not an expert, I'd recommend looking it up, but it looks like they are a wonderful place.
Yeah, it's amazing how far we've all progressed as societies, because for me back in the 80s, if you had a disability, you were seen as stupid or somehow the R word, which we're not allowed to say. And I had to have physical therapy for several years when I was a child, and to dream about actually have something like that these days, that would have been amazing. But for me, my family also had a farm, and we had Shire horses, and they actually like they didn't like me. They always spooked about me. So I don't know what's about me. They say if like horses don't like you, or you get spooked by horses, then you got a dark soul. So I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, my grandfather's Shire horses always spooked around me. I don't know why.
I think, I think I would assume that with the association charity that they probably work with the horses a lot to get them used to being around all sorts of different kinds of people. That's how I assume they kind of help with that kind of side of things. And it probably, for some people, it probably takes a lot to actually get them to interact with the horses, I would assume. I'd be terrified.
Yeah. I mean, like, autistic people kind of like, it's kind of like hard to say. Like, some things you just feel connection to, and some things like you want to, but you're kind of scared, like you're petrified by the situation. So, because it's something you can't control, or it's something which is so new and is like mentally baffling to your perception of reality. So it can be kind of sort of traumatic and exhilarating at the same time. It's like two different sort of emotions thrown together, and your brain is just like struggling to comprehend which emotion to accept. So bit of a roller coaster really sometimes with that sort of thing. But it's nice to hear about, like, about the PonyCon. We've got so much to talk about. So
I think we're gonna have to leave PonyCon at that, and there's so much more that we could even just talk about with that, but there's too many other things to talk about.
I mean, like, the laundry list today is like crazy. So as you and me, we've been watching, like, I've been like posting on the Discord, like dilling, all these like things which are going on in Shanghai this month, like from Pizza Hut doing like these like quality toys and stuff. And normally, like, back in the sort of like 80s and 90s, when you went to a restaurant and got like a toy or Happy Meal, it was a piece of junk, really, like a nasty piece of tat. But like in China, like these like toys are amazing. Like the quality of them is just crazy, and the things that they make. For this month, it's meant to be today, the Pizza Hut thing, but like there's like a Applejack bag, there's a lamp, like a night light for rainbow, where it's rainbow in a cloud, and the cloud sort of pulsates sort of light blue, and rainbows flying around it. There's like a bunch of like card holders and stuff. The only trouble is that my local Pizza Hut doesn't have it, because obviously a lot of these places are franchises. So like my local one doesn't have it, and it started today, and I'm like, oh god damn it. So I'm probably gonna have to go downtown at some point and see if I can find like a Pizza Hut doing that. At the same time, they've also got the Dragon Ball Z with McDonald's, but again, my local one's not doing that either. So that's that going on. You've also got, like, as I said, that I mentioned before, like the merchants kind of event. It's sometime this month coming up as well, going on. And then you've had like all the Fly With Me adverts going crazy, and only just today we got the price drops of the products, which I was actually kind of shocked, because I thought they were going to release that at the closed event. I thought they were going to keep that like quiet until then. But at least like we know like the prices of things now.
It's going to be so much easier to plan out what to get.
But the trouble is that the small pictures don't show you what is limited edition, which ones are not. Only the big pictures. So I need to go through and find out what is limited and what's not limited, because obviously we want to do a group buy. And I go along and try and grab some of these things. Because obviously the things which are not limited edition, we can get another day. But like the limited edition stuff, for example, the plushies, the new plushies, there's only 999 of each pony, so they're that limited. And I reckon within like a week they'll be all gone. They'll be gone within like a few days, I reckon. So that's why it's important to kind of get that sort of thing first.
Do you think that there's going to be a limit on how much they let each person buy if they're limited?
Probably, but like for me, I'm kind of lucky because, as you know, I've been invited to the closed open event, which is happening on the 30th, and it starts at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday. Of all days, why choose Tuesday?
It's a really weird day and a really weird time.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you know, I've had to cancel classes, which I normally do that day, and I'm gonna have to, like, you know, go all the way down to it's at the Joy City Mall. So I believe it's Minghan district, if I'm rightly. So I'll go all the way down there and go to that. But I'll probably go to the Nanjing Road flagship store to have a little perusal before I do go down there, see what they're doing there first, because they mostly have the sort of new stuff there. But I will see. I'm just going to have a look. But yeah, I'm invited to the close event. Media's going to be there. There's like some card artists and a bunch of other sort of like social media sort of celebrities. One's a cosplayer, one's some sort of like I could only say like a K-pop Chinese kind of thing. So there's that, and then so I'm gonna go along, and I'm taking my whole my big folder to show, because obviously my collection as of now, I'm only missing 10 cards. So
yeah, because they've asked you to take your collection along.
Yeah. So I'm meant to be talking to someone. I don't know if I'm talking to the media. I don't know, but I'm meant to be going there and talking. So I don't know who I'm talking to. I've just been told, like, you know, we would like you to do a bit of talking. I was like, okay. So I'm going to take my folder. And that's because basically not only am I foreign and a green card holder, but, you know, I've been collecting since day one, like since like Rainbow 1 and Moon 1 and Rainbow 2. So it's like I've been here since day one, just pure luck, just being in Shanghai since like 2015. So I think they want like a foreigner's perspective. So I'll be doing that. I'm hoping, because it's a closed event and I've been told I can buy some stock, so I'm hoping I can, like, you know, I'll have a few of those, please. You know,
get some cheeky extra stuff.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I can be a bit cheeky. I think like the reps, I know they will let me, but I've also got some sort of like meeting with like the international reps at like 9:30 at night. I think it's 8:30 or 9:30 at night. I'm going to be talking to some of the international reps, and they are like the America like reps. So like I'm guessing these are the guys who are going to be going to the New York event. So yeah, it'll be interesting to find out what's going on. And obviously when you talk to these reps, they're not allowed to tell you certain things, but like sometimes they accidentally let something slip and it's like, oh, thank you, you know. But obviously I don't ever like broadcast what I hear like that. I just tell like people I know like what I've heard, because I don't want to get them in trouble. So you know, so yeah,
that's fair.
As I said, I've not been told certain things, but like I'm just gonna go there, enjoy the moment, and to see what happens. Like but like, yeah, all they said to me is like, prepare something. So I'm just going to bring my folder and just think about, if they ask me something, what I'm going to talk about, if they want me to talk. So yeah.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it'll be lots of fun. Yeah, I was just going to say, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope that you get a chance to just, you know, take in what's there and see, you know, what things you think would be either good to stock or things that you think you or your daughter might enjoy.
Yeah, it's always it's a weird thing with me. So whenever time I sit down with Kayou, I talk to them. The last meeting was like in February. I sat down at their head office and talked to them, and like they say a bunch of stuff and it all goes in my brain, but it doesn't really click on the conscious level. And then about a few months later, like, oh, that's what they meant. It's like it's like this delayed fuse of like what people have told me. I don't know whether it's like just the way my mind is, or B, it's like my interpretation of Chinese sometimes is not perfect. So sometimes I like get half the story, and later on I realize, oh, he meant that, not this. So that kind of happens a lot sometimes when dealing with Kayou. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's a few items that I'm really looking for. Obviously, the plush is pretty cool. There's a bunch of new items I've not seen before on that list.
Thinking when you posted it, I was like, there's more in these pictures than what was posted before.
Yeah. There's like that, that folder thing, that sort of weird like thing with those sort of silver little bits in there. Like it's 159 RMB. That looks interesting. I'm gonna probably try and get my hands on the coins, because the coins remind me of the 90s Turtles coins. Me and my brothers used to collect those as kids, basically, and they look like the same sort of things that you collect. And these coins come in blind boxes, it seems, as well, if you look at the picture.
A few things look like they're blind boxes.
Yeah, like even some of the plush, the mini plush, they look like they also are from like blind boxes as well. So
yeah, so it's going to have to be really clear with people, like, this thing you can order a specific one of. This one is a blind box. I can't guarantee which one you're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, this is the hard thing about retail. This is like and sometimes, like, when I'm dealing with like the foreigners, and it's me saying foreigners, I'm a foreigner in China anyway, but like when dealing with like people outside of China, to explain to them how Kayou does things, sometimes it doesn't really compute. For example, people say, oh, can you get me X, Y, or Z box? And you can't always get that, because when you buy like a box of, or a case of things, there's like X amount of boxes inside that box, and you can't buy them separately. So for example, here's a good example, the starter decks, you get X amount in a box and you can't get them separately. So it's when someone goes, oh, I want this, I want that, I want that, and it's really first come, first served, because like you can't buy them separately. So it's very awkward sometimes to like get people what they really want.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
But is anything on there you were looking forward to, like looking at, like?
Oh gosh, the plushes are really cute. They're like bigger ones. I liked. Let me pull up the picture again to make sure I'm not forgetting anything.
Yeah, there's so much.
Yeah. I can't tell what they are. They're like, I think they're 59 RMB. They kind of look like acrylic standees, but they might be pendants of some kind, because they look like they've got little bows at the top. Those are really cute.
Yeah, there's the wind. I know there's the wind chimes ones. There's also the bell.
Yeah, there's those ones, but there's quite a few. It's on the same page as the coins, actually. It's the ones right next to them.
Okay, I would look, but my monitor, if I turn my monitor on, I can't see.
Oh yeah, I forget. Your technology is acting very strangely. Well, you can check that one later. Let's see, what else was there? There are so many plushes. There's an insane amount of plushes.
Yeah, there's like the ice cream plush. There's the I would say like the baby, like the cot, like musical charm, which you would put like in a cot. I had something very similar for my daughter when she was a baby, exactly the same sort of thing. So it's kind of weird like they do that, but it's cool because if my daughter was born again, I would have probably would have got that for her, a My Little Pony one. So yeah. Yeah,
they even have the Equestria Girls plushes as well. There's these ones. They're 10 RMB, and I think they're like the tickets, like the tickets that you can buy. Not like the search fun ones, like the Kayou ones. They look like them at least. I can't quite tell what they are.
They seem to also got new pens as well, only for the event, because they came out with some pens recently. So these pens look like they may be like limited edition. And then you got the really weird thing. Did you see the pony bum bag sort of hanging thing? It's like,
oh yeah, I saw that one.
like the rump of the pony, and you zip it open and put like things in it. It's like,
Yeah, that one I don't really get, but hey, to each their own.
it's like, another word for bum bag, pony bum bag, But yeah, that's the only kind of weird thing I saw at the event. But yeah, that's really much to do with that event what's coming up. And then we've got like what hit us today, like out of nowhere, like a sucker punch, would be Moon 9 coming out, which like came out of absolute nowhere.
Oh yeah, that's crazy that Moon 9 is already coming out, because we were expecting Rainbow 5.
Yeah, as I said, like I've been saying for like the last few months, there's always two releases in Q4. Last year was first of all, it was Rainbow 4, and then it was Adventure 1, but Adventure already has been, so I knew it couldn't be Adventure 1, so it had to be something missing. But I was expecting Rainbow 5 to come out first, because that's the natural order of how these cards have gone. It's gone always Moon, Photo Final, Let's Go, and then Rainbow. But now it's just like yoink, and it's like, here you go, sucker punch, and
have an extra moon.
Yeah, and it came out of nowhere. Like normally what happens, and this is the thing, normally what happens is some sort of like e-celebrity will post a little tease on Rednote, and then a few days later, 2 or 3 days later, Kayou does a sort of tease, and then a few days later, then you get like the proper announcement of the thing, and then a few more days later, then you get the retailer's docket sheet, which basically has the QR code and the dimensions of the boxes to feed into your back office, basically, and that's when like you're a week away from a launch. And that's always been the case. But like this came out, and it's come out with everything all at once. No tease, just boom, everything out. The docket, everything. It's really strange.
So there's a few interesting things to talk about with it, though, in terms of the cards. First of all, it looks like the ZRs or ZRs, they look like they're here to stay.
Yeah, that's a good thing in a way, because it basically makes it more exciting and makes it different from the older boxes. Though it does mean that you have to collect more boxes. So in a way, Kayou does make more money. But, hey-ho.
The company makes a change where the company wins. Who would have thought?
But I'm not a fan of the new ZR. I think really, like, I didn't know that they were comic books. You told me that they're comic books. Where are they from again? Those comic books?
Yeah, because they're alternative variant covers for what was known as micro series. And they basically did a comic book very early on. They did one comic book for each of the girls, Spike, the Cutie Mark Crusaders, Princess Celestia, and Princess Luna, and they just did a random story where they were the central character, or characters in the Cutie Mark Crusaders case. And these alternative covers, each of the main 6 got one, where it was basically them as a filly, and also the extra one I sent you, where it's Celestia with both Spike and Twilight as kids. And we know there's going to be 7 ZRs. I'm assuming they're going to have the main 6 ones, and then the 7th one should be horizontal, but they might change it up and just do that Celestia, Twilight, and Spike one. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, because as obviously now, like, they've really pushed the hidden card now thing with Moon 8. Now, they did have the hidden or chase card thing was always a thing beforehand from Moon 6, because you had the landscape Pinky SC card, and then you had the same thing with Moon 7 with all the girls in the photo. So it kind of happened from that point. But I think, like, yeah, they're going to definitely have like this hidden ZR card and the hidden SC card as well, and both of those are going to be huge amounts of money, because the currently, like, the landscape SC cards go for around about like as cheap as of like 500 RMB to about 800, depending on what one it is. But the hidden ZR card is a lot more, because there's only one of them, so it's you know, it's a lot harder drop to get.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the ZR cards. I suppose we talked about the ZR cards. Let's bump it back up to the SCs. I love the SCs for this set. I think they're beautiful.
But yeah, SCs, like, yeah, they're really beautiful. I really like them. I didn't quite like Moon 8s. I thought they were kind of dull, but like these ones are a lot more interesting. And
well, that's the thing about the Moon 8 ones, is that those were comic book covers in the Moon 8 for the SCs. They were the comic book covers that they're using, apart from the hidden one, that seemed to be an original piece where they kind of brought all of them together. Those are the comic covers that they're using for the best of compilation comics that they've been bringing out the past year or so, where they collect different stories from across the different My Little Pony comics, focusing on each of the different girls.
But I think really, like, it's good because they've not gone back to like the old styles, like the that's one of the things I don't like them doing, is like, for example, like Moon 2, Moon 3 were the first SC cards, and there were these pastel colors, and then Moon 4 went through like the stained glass window, something new. But unfortunately in Moon 5 they went back to the pastel colors, and I was like, what are you doing? It's
so weird, because they're so often in these sets. I know that SCs are the chase cards, but in so many of these sets I'm looking at them and I'm just there like, I like the SGRs more. I'll just pull the SGRs instead.
Yeah. I think really like that change with Moon 6. I think because Moon 6 was the actual shake-up of the actual box sets, or the relaunch of or the reset of the collection, because that's when they introduced the international cards. So everything about Moon 6 was taken down and done so that it could introduce the cards to the West. So, you know, even if like you didn't collect the old Chinese cards, you could really just say like, I'm starting from Moon 6 because that's the reset. So, you know, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So we've done ZRs, SCs, SGRs. Let me remind myself what the SGRs look like. Are they the investigator kind of looking ones?
I can't remember. I can't see them, so I don't know. Can't remember. But I do remember them like looking kind of looking interesting.
It was the investigator one. So I think Chrysalis seems to be doing her own thing. Also, Chrysalis SGR card, that's pretty cool. I don't think she's had one before.
No, she hasn't. She's had SSRs.
I think she has one LSR.
Yes. No. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's only 2 cards of her. Only 2 cards.
Yeah, so and it's the highest rarity that she's got as well. So that's kind of cool. I don't know what outfit she's wearing, but it's pretty.
Yeah, it's a nice looking card. The pose and stuff, like, I quite like that. But then you go on to the LSRs, and like, it's nice that they're the same style as Moon 8, but again, for me, I like themes in my LSRs, and this I just don't.
I get exactly what you mean.
I just don't like that there's no theme in this like new LSRs. It just feels weird. The last one you could tell it was about. Yeah, you could tell it was about pet.
I have a theory of the LSRs. So, because we've only seen the Rarity, Applejack, and Celestia ones so far, yeah?
We've also seen the Luna ones. If you sent that, I found that sneak picture of Luna
Oh, you did. Hold up. Let me see what the lunar one looks like. I don't think my theory applies to those ones anyway. Yeah, the lunar one. So I have a small theory. I have no idea how accurate this theory will be. Celestia and Luna specifically, because sometimes you get the LSRs. Sometimes there's like two themes in one. Like I remember you talking about for Moon 5. There's not really a theme for the girls, and then you have the Wonderbolts theme for the other half. I think this set looks like it's doing the same thing, and I think Celestia and Luna look like Dungeons and Dragons style characters. Celestia looks like either a paladin or a fighter or something, and Luna looks like a druid.
Yeah, I mean that. I think you might be right because, like, as I said, like I believe it was like the mid moons they started doing this duality of LSRs where the beginning ones were clearly one theme. Like Moon 2 was the superhero set. Then you had the Moon 3, which was the Chinese holiday sets, and then obviously Moon 6 was all the fruit sets. Moon 8 seemed to be like pets. That's what it came across to me, a pet set.
I think it was, yeah. So that's my theory for one half of them. The other half, again, I could be very wrong on this because I'm going off of 2 cards. That's not a lot to pick up on a theme from. Potentially, what I'm seeing is Applejack is wearing glasses. She doesn't normally, and she's got like design stuff with her. Rarity, although she does have some of her sewing stuff, she also has a cape.
No, I saw that. I was like, why has she got a cake there? It's weird.
Cake is more of a Pinky thing. Design stuff and wearing glasses occasionally is more of a Rarity thing. I wonder if they're doing it as like the girls being a little bit like one of the other girls.
Maybe.
It's a long shot. I don't think that's 100% right. I'm like 50% confident in that. It's a wild guess. So I'm only picking up on it from the fact that Rarity has the cake, and I'm like, why has she got a Pinky thing? And that's kind of what got me thinking about that.
I do think that, like, you're right on the money about it being a split LSR set. I think you're right about that. It's not like they've done this before. They've done it with many other sets before in the mid-range LSRs, so that it has been done before. So I think you're right there. And then you've got, like, the URs, which are all like trick-or-treating kind of like, or Nightmare Moon kind of cards. But again, like...
Yeah, Nightmare Night stuff.
And where's this artwork come from? Because, like, obviously it looks like it's been taken from somewhere or they've done something with it. It looks like...
Yeah, so I spotted this, and even in the server, like a couple of the other people were like, oh, that's a good spot. Towards the, like, latter half of the Friendship is Magic series, they started bringing out certain like illustrated picture books that all followed the same style. They'd done a few before, but from let me bring up the page because I had it saved. There it is. So from about 2017 they started bringing out certain picture books that all followed this same style. Let's see, the artist is... Okay, so the first one that has this kind of style, the artist is Zoe Persico. And it looks like... Yeah, that's her style. And they did a bunch. They've got one where it's like Twilight being a good aunt to Flurry Heart. There's one about Pinky doing a bunch of baking with Gummy, Rainbow reading with some young Pegasi, and the one that I think might have inspired this set, Pinky the Excellent Costume Party, which is a Halloween themed style book. So I wonder if that's where they've got this idea from, is from that book.
Yeah, because the art style is something very, very different we've not seen before in any of the cards.
It's another shake-up for the URs as well, which I like them doing.
Yeah, because normally what they do with URs is they'll do 2 boxes which are similar, like slightly similar, and they move on to a different style. So, but this time it's kind of, but for example, like Moon 6 and Moon 7 was similar. Moon 8 was obviously the swimming pool one, but this one's now completely shifted. So it's not doing the two box similar theme. It's like they're completely going a brand new direction straight away. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and then like we were mentioning previously, SSRs, no more poker cards.
Yeah, I mean, they were very frustrating to collect for most people because like there would always be one or two, or I would end up like a handful, like 5 or 6 I just couldn't get hold of. Now how many boxes I bought, I was missing the same cards and getting like the same duplicates of certain cards over and over and over again, and it was not fun at all. It was one of the worst experiences. Moon 8 wasn't so bad, but Moon 7 was terrible. It was really terrible to get you the cards you wanted. If they had done something like if they'd done something like tarot cards, then I would have been more interested, because then there would have been,
that would have been cool.
Yeah, they would have specific art for each set. Who would have been interested. But poker cards aren't really kind of like the thing you should really be doing for collectible art cards, because essentially what these are pieces of art, and by doing the same sort of copy and paste artwork, it devalues the whole collection, I personally believe, because you can't really put these cards with the other cards in the same folder. If you try and do like all your Pinkie Pies together and all your rarities together, like a lot of like the Chinese collectors do, you can't really do that, because you can't put like, oh, here's the poker cards, the ugly stepson like in the corner. So you end up like you just end up putting them in a folder of shame somewhere, like with the N cards and the FR cards, because you just like.
Is that where the PTR cards go as well?
I don't know. I kind of have PTRs separately, but like I'm not so ashamed of those, because they're quite nice. They're not so bad, because like obviously like it's more like a comic book, and that's why I said to a few people, if they were going to redo the whole collection, and if I was in charge, I would have like maybe the SR card, but the R card I would scrap that and make it a comic book card set you had to collect. Then it would make it more valuable for like the low end card, because you would have to collect the comic book. So that's how I would have done it. But like, yeah, a lot of Chinese people did not like the PTR card. It was like, that's why like you didn't see it in the next box.
Yeah, it means that it's a single box exclusive rarity.
Yeah, and they tried to do the same thing with in Moon 7. But as you know, like trying to turn like a comic book into a HR like holographic card doesn't always work.
No, some of them looked really good when they leaned less into the changing kind of look and more of the making it look more 3D. When they leaned into those, it worked really well for certain cards, but others you could tell that they just didn't know what to do with them.
No, I mean like, and they look really kind of so like derpy sometimes when you you sort of flick them back and forward. They and to be fair, like if you compare those hologram cards to all the others, they are the worst. And that's not, saying, that's not being hard, that's being truthful. And speaking about hologram cards, in this box set, again, they're splitting it in half. So you've got like your sort of standard sort of going back to the sort of early hologram card scene cards, but you've also got these like individual character cards that are coming out as well, and they look like, these ones look like sort of Moon 4, Moon 5 cards with like the graffiti, all the things in the background. They look like those cards, so that's kind of cool. So we have to kind of see when they come out, really.
Yeah, and since they've done something different with the SSR cards again, do you think that there's going to be any kind of theme to the R and SR cards? Because the SR cards tend to have, at least some of them have a theme to them. Do you think they'll try and stick with this investigator theme?
I don't know, because really, like, they did have that sort of a theme with them, especially in rainbow boxes. You had a theme with the SRs and cards. But moon cards recently don't really have a theme, not to my knowledge. Do you think they have a theme? I just can't really think of anything of them.
So it's only when I was opening the Moon 5 box recently, and they had a slight theme, at least for the first half, where it was the girls all in their breezy form, the little, like, fairy bug kind.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the girls, they also had other characters that were those creatures. They had 3-4 of them. So it seemed like the first half of the SRs actually had a theme to them.
That's the thing with the poster. It shows, like, mainly the top cards. It doesn't show you really, I mean, even it doesn't really show you very well the HR cards. It doesn't. So we're going to have to kind of wait, really, to see what that really is. But I reckon it might be this box set might be out within a week or so. It really, like, I reckon no more than 2 weeks. It's going to probably be out and dropped. And to be fair, even at that event, there might be boxes. You know, the event.
I was going to say they might have boxes at the event. And we'll finally know what's going on with this frame thing for the PR card that they also announced.
Yeah, I mean, like, you saw me, like, I found, and this is the interesting thing, if you don't live in China, you're not going to kind of see these kind of things, but sometimes someone releases some information and they've jumped the gun and they get their snout snapped and it gets removed quickly. And yeah, like, there was a bunch of slides. Now, one of the slides was re-put back up officially about half an hour afterwards, and that was the PR card. But, like, the frame, the black and white frame what's meant to go with it, I've not seen anything about that. And I've been image searching, like, on the Chinese internet for it, and no, it's just whatever that was is vanished, like, evaporated. So I might have to try and ask some of my Kayou reps to find out what that really was. But it looks like a sort of Edwardian style black frame to go with the theme of the girls' kind of clothing, like the frame for the PR cards and other cards. But there was very little information on there. I mean, the Chinese said the symbols I recognized was Piaolian, which is beautiful, and then it said card, which is Carpien, and then it had the Chinese word for brick, and when they mean that, sometimes it means frame. So my understanding of the Chinese by reading it was like beautiful card frame. That's what it kind of said in the Chinese. But my Chinese is not perfect, but it's something at least. Even Jelly Dash is like, when I was translating some of the words I saw on the poster, she said that my interpretation was pretty much bang on.
Yeah, let's talk about the PR card itself. It's Pinky if she was a little sweet wrapper thing.
Yeah, like, really kind of weird. And it's like, and if you look at, like, the early PR cards, it looks like not the image, but the actual surrounding the card. It looks like one of those early PR cards, like the frame, the color. It looks like one of those old ones, those classic PR cards. It's kind of really bizarre.
Yeah, I wonder if you put the frame around it and it makes the card look better, because right now, as a PR card, it just kind of looks weird.
Yeah, it looks very strange. And, yeah.
I think it's drawn in the same style as the UR card.
Oh, yeah, because it's like trick-or-treating. So she's like a piece of candy, maybe. That's what they're playing upon.
Which I get, but also it's still weird.
Yeah, and if you compare it to all the other PR cards, it's certainly going to be like the odd one out looking at it. And then obviously the box as well. This is now the second time they've done a Pinkie Pie box, because, as you know, like,
yes, because we were talking about this, weren't we?
Yeah, because rainbows you can't count because all the ponies on. the photo file Let's Go's you can't count. But moons, you look at all the moons. First moon, it was all the ponies, and it was like a white box, and like the 5 euro and B boxes.
Yeah, I was going to say it was shaped like the rainbow box.
Yeah, and then you had Moon 2, which was like a bunch of them as superheroes on there. So it wasn't one specific pony.
Yeah, and I was getting confused and thought that it was specifically Twilight on the box. I know why I got confused about that. It's because it was Twilight in her superhero form on the pack.
Yeah, and then you go to actually specific themed boxes. Like Moon 3, you have Rarity. Then you have Fluttershy, then you have Pinkie Pie, then Twilight, then Applejack, and then Rainbow. So now it's actually the second Pinkie Pie box set.
Well, the other interesting thing is, on the earlier boxes, the artwork that they used for the boxes themselves were the, excluding Moon 2, Moon 3, I think, I forget which ones these cards were in Moon 3, but certainly for Moon 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, the artwork used on the boxes was the SGR card artwork.
Yeah, you're right there, because I'm looking right at my my boxes of Moon 3, 5. And yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Now I'm not as familiar with Moon 8. I haven't opened it yet, so I keep getting the cards mixed up in my head. Is the rainbow on that the ZR or the SGR?
Oh, I can't really remember. I'm gonna have to have another look now. Making me grab my folder out. One sec.
No worries.
Definitely not the ZR. The ZR cards are like these what I would describe as Art Deco cards, and I'm definitely sure it's not that. I'm pretty sure you're right. Oh, I also got my new folder, my Rarity one, to put all my my SC card, SSR cards, and my UR cards. I managed to fit them all in there, but I couldn't dirty the folder by putting in the poker cards. I was like, no, I can't do that. So
yeah, because you were saying the folder itself is quite nice, but the inserts were kind of cheap.
Yeah, they're a bit tacky, and I might buy some new ones because I'm a bit worried that like they might damage the cards. But my cards are sleeved, but they just feel a bit strange.
I think that's what a lot of people have said about these, is like, the folders are pretty, you should probably get some new inserts.
Moon 7, Moon 8, yes. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. The artwork on Moon 8 is the SGR. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. So that is something that they have changed up once again with this box. It's the SC artwork that they've put of Pinkie on the box, not the SGR.
That's interesting. I do like that those SC cards because it's the French couture sort of style of the 19th century. And obviously, like, people like Queen Victoria, like, was one of those kind of people who kind of like was an icon for that style, especially those kind of like dresses where they're sort of cage dresses, all frilly, and those sort of lace outfits and stuff. So
yeah, and they have these beautiful bonnets onto a couple of the girls. They're really nice.
Yeah, and use a big sort of bouffant hair and stuff like that. So at least like my fashion degree doesn't get wasted. So you know, at least I have a use for it by looking at these pictures sometimes and talking about the art styles and stuff like that. So yeah, that's cool. It did remind me actually, because I was talking to some Kai reps, and I got you, you can see on the camera here, and on the camera here, I got you obviously that PR card, or it's not really a PR card, it's actually called, I think the name of it, look, it's a PLD card, it's number 1. But I also got this for you as well. I got given this little blind box. I don't know if you got these. I got given this for free.
Oh.
So they're called Magic Scenes.
We don't have those ones. We have actually got some stuff that came into the UK somewhat recently, though. They sell them. Miniso get some blind boxes, both their own and a couple of others here and there. but also Forbidden Planet stocks a lot of them. I'll send a picture in a bit, actually, because Forbidden Planet got a restock of some stuff, my local one recently. We haven't got that box, though, but there are a couple that they import. Like, they've got some Pop Mart ones, some Reese's ones, so we're starting to get a few things popping up here.
Yeah, I mean, Miniso in China, like, they have massive, like, Kayou sections, not just My Little Pony, but Ultraman and all the other sort of cards which are kind of popular with the kids. So yeah.
Hopefully, if they come to the UK market, they'll stock in Miniso in some way, because that's one of the main places to get pony things here. And it's not even like they've been doing it for ages. It's somewhat recently that they started stocking them.
That's always a good thing, because like every time if I do go back to the UK at some point, and visit, like at least there's something for my daughter to kind of like go into and feel like she's somewhat like at home in Shanghai by going to a Miniso.
Yeah, Miniso will be the main one. Forbidden Planet has a decent amount, but as well as ponies, they started stocking a lot of Care Bears stuff recently as well.
Oh, did I tell you the story about what it was like back in the 1980s with like the girls in the playground? They were like gangs.
You did. You did.
It was like Bloods and the Crips. You had like one side was My Little Pony and the other side were like Care Bears, and like they would batter each other, pull each other's hair out over like each fandom, like, and like us boys would just like sit there eating popcorn almost, looking at it and going like, wow, we thought we were violent, Jesus Christ.
It's yeah, I know this is a tangent, but it's weird to me because I liked both growing up, but I don't think I remember really seeing a lot of My Little Pony toys. So I had a couple of Care Bear plushies, but I didn't have any My Little Pony stuff. But I watched a lot of Care Bears and a lot of My Little Pony. I watched both of them, and I remember really enjoying both of the 80s movies, the Care Bears one and the My Little Pony one. But you were saying that a bunch of girls kind of swapped sides to ponies because they found the Care Bears movie too scary.
That's what happened. Like, the movie came out and like they just like really, I don't know what it, I didn't really see the Care Bear movie, but like it was like this one weekend it was on in the cinemas locally in Hampshire where I used to live, and like they were all, I'm going off to go and see the movie, and then on Monday that was it. They didn't have their Care Bear sort of toys. They had My Little Pony, and I was like, what's up? Like, and they were like, and turned out like they've been crying pretty much all weekend because of the Care Bear movie. It's like somehow like really mentally scarred them. I made them very scared. So I don't know.
It's been a long time since I watched it, but I definitely watched both the Care Bears and My Little Pony movies as a kid, and I don't remember being scared of either of them. And I scare easily, so I don't know what the heck was going on in that movie that I just wasn't computing was terrifying, apparently.
I don't know, but it's just like, that's what happened. Like, it was just like, it was really weird, like a weird sort of shift. And then like there was more people following My Little Pony, and the funniest thing I think I remember seeing was like, you got those like eggshell lunch boxes, those plastic ones, but they had these hefty, great big water bottles which you'd put inside it. And I remember some girl battering some other girl with her lunchbox, and it like shattered open, and the water bottle went rolling along the floor. And it obviously, if you dropped all those lunch boxes, if they broke like any little bit, you could never put them back together. And I remember this girl being battered by this My Little Pony lunchbox. So yeah, it was kind of hilarious.
But yeah, bringing it back to the cards. I know that some new Ruby Rares apparently have been shared for the new booster box. I'm assuming you're going to want to talk to IPony more about that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him about that because obviously he's got he's probably one of the persons in the West who's got one of the biggest and fullest collections of the Chinese game cards out there, and he's about to have like all the PR cards. I just sent him all the PR cards, so it's gonna be a happy chappy once he gets that.
Nice.
So yeah, I've got them all for him. One of them's actually from my collection, from the launch of the card game. When I went for the launch and I played the private game with a bunch of the Kayou reps, and they gave me on the exclusive video, you'll see them handing me a white packet. I actually got given 2 of them, white packets, but one of them actually had rarity in it, so he's getting my rarity card from the launch.
Oh, nice. That's really cool. Okay, I think the only other thing we had to talk about was, and we mentioned it briefly earlier, where the heck is Rainbow 5?
Yeah, I just, we've got loads of things speculating what we are at the moment, at what's going on with it. Like, maybe they're dropping it, maybe...
I'm half convinced they dropped it.
Possibly. But then again, like, Kayou always has, with its best collections, 3 to 4 boxes. And I say 4 boxes because a lot of, like, you guys don't know this, but, like, they have a budget box, which is a 1 yuan box. And it really is just like a laji box.
Only R's and SRs here, nothing else.
Yeah, it's gonna I can't find them. They're these cards here. To show to the camera, they're these like cards, and they do, like, these ones have the 1 yuan packs, but like I think it's only like R, SR, and the highest card is SSR. I don't think like you get a UR. I think that's the highest you get, but they're like the budget range. So it'd be kind of strange if they do get rid of like the 5 yuan, but like I think maybe they're doing a complete revamp, because if you think about it, Photo Fun got taken back to the drawing board. They added unique SSRs in number 4, and in number 5 they re-changed the whole like mechanical system of the jackpot, so that like now you always get something. You don't, like, because you can open up multiple Photo Funds or Let's Goes from 1 to 4 and get nothing, absolutely nothing. But like at least with 5,
yeah, you were saying,
yeah, but with 5 you can get the new UGR card or a CR card at least.
Yeah, which is really good that they made that change. Because like, I mean, I assume I know that you've not experienced this, but they're theoretically there might be one of those dud boxes every so often, like the really unlucky ones, like you've seen where you occasionally get a moon box and you just don't get any of the high cards in it.
Yeah, that's what I call bad box. I actually found those are called bad box, and you get the bad box. You only get I believe like 5 LSRs, no SGR, no SC. I call that the bad box. Then you have the common.
Yeah, so maybe there's a bad box version of the Photo Fun 5, but I don't think you've not found any proof of those, have you? Yeah.
I've opened over 25 boxes. I've opened over 25 boxes and I've not found that. And I believe Cho, he's opened up a huge amount. Other people on the Discord have opened up, and they've only found the same thing I found, and that's either you get one or the other, and it really is 50-50. If someone can find one which doesn't have something, one of those sort of weird like people who came on the Discord and talked a lot of like nonsense. One of those people, they said, "Oh, my friend didn't get anything," and I was like, "Really?" Because like I just didn't believe them. But if there is, then I'm willing to accept it. But I want to see the footage, because like I just don't think. I think really what they've done now is you're guaranteed a hit, but you're gonna buy twice the amount of boxes, because there are 12 CR cards and 9 UGR cards. So now you have to buy even more boxes. So Kayou makes money, and you are guaranteed to get something. So it's like a win-win. That's why they've done what they've done. That's what I think they've done.
Yeah, yeah. So like you said, they've revamped that box. We've mentioned the ZR card being another revamp for the Moon boxes. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they're just trying to figure out what they want to do with the Rainbow box.
Yeah, I hope if they are going to use it, I hope they get rid of one of the window cards, because free window cards is just really silly. I mean, keep the MTR cards, because they're nice window cards done correctly. So that's cool, because you have like a dual card together to make the sort of heart. That's cool. But like I don't like the other transparent cards because they shrunk since the Rainbow 1 and 2, and they're such small versions, and they're meant to be put with like the FR cards, which I goddamn hate. But like, yeah, I think they just need to choose.
You mentioned.
Like, I don't mind so much like the TGR in Moon and Rainbow 3. It's like the gothic ones, especially the Fluttershy one's really nice. But like the rest of them, like, it's like meh. So if they just cut down to one, like TR or TGR, like one of those, the MTR and something different, got rid of like the FR cards, did something different, then and add a new level card, maybe something after the USR card and in between the XR card, then like I'd be kind of happy. But like, I think they need to redo it.
I think for me, I actually didn't mind the FR and the TR cards and being like, oh, you pair them together. What bothered me was that you didn't get the same amount of them in a box, so you couldn't have a proper pairing system for them if you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
That's what annoyed me.
Yeah.
If it was like, oh, there's 20 FR cards, 20 TR cards, and then, or if they had 20 FR cards and it was like, right, cool, then there's, let's say 15 TR cards and 5 TGR cards or something, and there's a specific one that you'd want to pair with each FR card. I think that would be quite fun. That would be almost like a game of finding the matching pairs. But because they didn't do that, it doesn't feel as good.
I mean, for me, like, I collect the data of Rainbow 3 and 4, and I opened up around 60 to 80 boxes. And what I found was that, like, the transparent cards, you always got a random amount. There was never the same amount, but you got 20 random amounts. So sometimes you would get like 3 MTRs, some box you would get like 7 MTRs, another box you would get like maybe like 10 MTRs. It was completely random. Like the TRs, TGRs, and MTRs, they were random amounts. It was always random, and that was me opening up at least 60 to 80 boxes and finding that data.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, hopefully, I think if we don't see a rainbow box by January, I think it's pretty safe to say they've probably dropped.
Yeah, there's still going to be something coming out, because I said there's always 2 releases in Q4. Now, we know one of them now is definitely Moon 9. There's still going to be something else. You know, we don't know what's happening.
So it's the most likely thing would be a rainbow box, but it could also be another exclusive, like a new one.
Yeah, it could be. For, you know, all we know, it could be Equestria Girls, even though that it flopped really hard in China, which I doubt they would ever do it again. But like, Kayou's not just thinking about China anymore, because they've realized that China, the market on its own, is unsustainable. So they're now shifting to like a global outlook. And, you know, there are obviously a lot of fans of Equestria Girls out there in the West. So maybe they'll be doing it for the West. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we'll have to see, because that's the one thing that they haven't done yet, is any kind of international exclusive boxes. That seems to have been Chinese only, and I wonder if they're going to keep it that way.
See, I think that Moon 9 is that pivot, because they have never done a box set for a Western holiday before. They've never catered for the Western market. So them doing this Halloween style moon box for October, this is like they're pivoting for the, the external market.
That's true, because I think the closest we've had was... I think the closest is there's been one Christmas PR card. And I think there's also... It wasn't an entire set or box, but the first Stardust box had Easter-themed cards within it. But I think you're right. I think this is the first time they've got a box where there's a very strong theme of Halloween in October.
Yeah, I mean, like, all times before you saw these sort of like seasonal cards, you mainly saw them in the form of HR cards in Moon 2 and Moon 3, if I remember rightly. You had the Halloween, the Christmas, and Easter all in one. So yeah, it's kind of like this is the first time they've done that, because obviously that they're starting to do the moon cards for the American market, and they're starting with, of all things, Moon 7, which is really bizarre.
It's very strange. Yes, so now we'll have 3 different versions of Moon 7, and I think I'm going to try and get a box of the American version, because I've got the Southeast Asian international version. I've got boxes of that before, and I'm not planning to collect all of the Chinese cards, but I want to get a box of those as well, because I think I need to do a comparison on what opening each of the different styles of Moon 7 box is like. And I also want to do a bit of maths on the ratios to see what you're actually getting for your money with each one, because all of them have different numbers of packs. They have different amounts of cards in each pack. There's going to be a different price on each of the boxes. It's going to be very complicated. If you are someone who does not care about the language or the like codes on your cards, it's going to just be a case of like which one is the one that's most worth it to buy, because the American one that's coming out, it might have the most cards per pack, it might have the most packs per box, but if the drop rates are really low in that and the price is really high, it might not be worth it. It might still be more worth it to import a box from Asia.
Yeah, I mean, like, also, like, we don't know what the serial numbers are going to be. We know that, like, the Chinese ones, Moon, start with HY, HY10, which is, HY is the box, and then 10 is a 10 yuan. So that's that serial number. And the Asian release, like Singapore, Hong Kong, and whatnot, their card code starts with INT, for short for international. But we have no idea what it's going to be for the serial code for the American one.
Theoretically, it could just be a straight-up reprint of the other international card.
Probably, but, like, I got a funny feeling that, like, at least the branding's being changed. That's one of the things I spoke to Kai when I was at their meeting back in February. I said, like, them calling the names of things in the Asian market was one thing, but I said to them, as soon as like they start talking to partners or people bringing it to life in the West, that like it needs some localization, because the names that they have for the box sets are too much of a mouthful and too floral, like the way that they want the boxes to be called, just to say very unnatural. And when you look at like the marketing of the American box sets, they did exactly what I told Kaya they would do. There's going to be very short and sweet, to the point. And I did tell them that. I did warn them that, like back in February. And I told them, like, don't make the same mistake that like Nintendo made back in the day, back in the 80s. They made all these mistakes, thinking like they would translate their language into English and that would be job done. And I said, no, that won't work. You need not only to be translated, you need it localized, because there's a certain way that a native people speaks, and it's not about like who's better and who. It's just the way that people speak, and that's just that. I try to explain it to them. I don't know if it went up in the upper up, but it did get reported what I said to them. So I don't know if they took notice, but yeah, like I did tell them.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's everything we wanted to talk about.
I'm sure you've heard the words, "This is the way." But have you ever stopped to feel their weight? The Mandalorian is more than a story, it's a code. A creed about loyalty, found family, and the journey of redemption. So as we wrap up, remember, whether you're forging your own path or standing by those who matter most is the way. Hit subscribe, and let's explore the galaxy together.